still remember that when I was starting initial days with Athena, so we had a very detailed conversation with senior leaders out here, and they were highlighting that when you put a particular research, you should always see that first of all, give it a thought that what search you're putting, and second, you should not go on and on and on. Whether you get that result or not, you should not continue in that direction. There is a rule of research which is called Pomodoro technique, which highlights that there is 25 minutes long. Initial 25 minutes when you put your research and you don't reach to a particular set of profiles or candidates, whatever you're looking at, you should immediately, that's a sign when you should relook at the research the search you have put. So I think if we know some nitty-gritties, it will certainly help us to deviate a bit and also reach to that output in much shorter time. Other things which we're discussing, that we should not procrastinate a lot while doing research. If there is certain problem statement, we should first think through, deep dive into it, and then thoughtfully put a research so that we are reaching to that.
I think this is what I learned in the past 2 years, because I remember when I started, I used to just get completely lost. If I've just put 2-3 keywords, I'm searching about a market or a specific industry, I would just get lost in the abundance of information that is there.
That's how we all start.
Yeah, exactly. And then you kind of understand the structured approach at research, that you cannot just do anything.
Yeah.
You need to have an objective in mind before you start, and then move one step at a time at, digging deeper and deeper and deeper.
Absolutely.
You cannot just expect yourself to just be there on point every time.
Yeah. When I joined, and this was sort of my first organization, to say so, I had no idea about research. I had no idea about the work that we were doing here, and when I was asked to research, I was blank. I used to be blank for about 4 to 5 seconds, zoned out, and I would just gather myself back and then try to work on things. But again, at that point in time, also I learned something which is very, very important for people who are wanting to join this industry, or who are in this industry and are getting frustrated or irritated because they're not getting a certain result. I think it's just in your mind. It's to do with your mind. It is not to do with you're not putting the right search. It is not to do with you're not making efforts. It's just that you need to be patient enough. You need to not just give up saying that, okay, I've put this research and I'm not getting the desired result. And one needs to just continuously, take this as a time of learning and growing, and just keep trying. Because now I can fairly say that I'm doing very great in research, good in research. If that's how I want to see my growth from where I started to where I am now. So it has taken time. 4 years is a good time to invest yourself completely in research, and so would be for you. I mean, when you had joined, it was like a blank canvas, and you need to build the entire story and approach and strategies as to how and where you can get down to the desired result.
I think you've mentioned a very important point here. I think the biggest challenge with these beginners is that firstly they need to break their inertia before starting, because they're just pata nahi kya hi hoga, because they're just I don't know where to start, what to begin with, how to put keywords, what is the combination that would work. So to break that inertia, and post that, having patience, and trusting the process, because it takes time. It's not a very instant process. So I think you mentioned about patience, Ayushi, and I think I completely agree with you on that. You really need to be patient to get to the desired result.
That's true.
Also, I just feel that someone will give you advice. We're also trying to give advice, and we've done that. But it's within the person to how to navigate through those advices and get into where they want to. It is not to do with nobody can teach you, is what I'm trying to say.
It can't be one size fits all kind of an approach. It's very specific to one's methodology and one's approaches.
When we started with our research, when I started with my research, I was told that this is how the steps were, the guidelines you can say was given to me. but how to do it, I had
That
to
was your own,
absolutely learn by
approach, yes.
myself. And now
That's how it is.
yeah, so research is something which you can be guided by people, but learning experience, once you get your hands on to doing that, is when you will get.
You have to realize what works for you. Like we mentioned in the beginning, that it's a very creative process on its own.
Yeah. I must say that research plays a very, very important part in one's career growth, irrespective of the industry which one is part of.
Exactly. I mean, I completely agree, because being on top of what is happening in the industry and being updated helps you in having very meaningful conversations.
Yeah. Research doesn't just help us like in closing the mandates or getting the business, but it also keeps us retaining the business and the candidates.
I mean, it builds your credibility, because that person, because when you're selling something or when you're convincing something, that person sees that, okay, I'm speaking to a very credible person, because of course this person is kind of updated, understands what is happening in the ecosystem, in the market, and hence coming to me and having this conversation.
That's why they want to listen to you. That's why they want to seek your advice. If you're not updated with what's happening, if you're not very strong with our research and do not have idea how to go about how to make a conversation which is going to a X direction and now we have to get into a Y direction, you need to have those.
Maneuvering a conversation, especially when you're having this conversation with senior stakeholders or key decision makers, and then